All right, welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset. So I've got a very special guest today. I've got Nicky from BetterBank. So what's going on, Nicky?
Oh man, so much. But it's good. It's really good. I'm happy.
Happy to have you here, man. So just my little quick spiel. So obviously BetterBank has finally launched.
Happy
It's
to be.
yeah, and it's one of the first platforms on Pulsechain with some pDAI utility. So I think this is really creating a lot of excitement on Pulsechain. And today, obviously, here you are to share this as the founder. And we're going to
Mhm.
go through the protocol, how it reimagines lending, borrowing, and wealth generation. And the things that we're going to talk about today is how things have been going with BetterBank
Yeah,
since the launch. And then we're going to go into the protocol with some live demonstrations and then some strategies that people can start utilizing. So, yeah, let's
yeah.
get straight into it, Nicky. So, how have things been going since the launch?
Amazing, really. Um, like every day there's a lot of stress going on with, do we get this done in time or do we get this done in time? I mean, up until the launch, like a lot of the things that were still being done on the morning of Wednesday, like right before the launch. Like I wanted to have that done like Friday, like days ago, and that's basically how things are going. Like everything always takes way more time than everyone gauges. Even the people who need to code it, they say like, "Oh yeah, that probably takes me 5 hours," and then like 15 hours later, it's there. Yeah, I'm gonna sleep tomorrow. Things are they're tough, but at the same time, eventually we persevere and it works. Um, we launched on time, but that doesn't mean that everything is already working the way that it should. The UI is not even is the UI is good. It functions, but it's not the same as the design. So that needs updates, and buttons aren't yet in the right place. And then the flash loan contract needed to be recreated, basically. And there's stuff, startup problems. But even though there's that, and even though people, for example, in Stronghold are basically not yet even getting interest, in the background there's some Esteem calculations that they'll be getting, but that's minor. So even though it's just the platform still, we already got like I think 7.2 million last time I checked. Like in that was
Wow.
deposited in the Stronghold, and that is, I'd say, insane, man. That's so good.
Yeah. Just
And good stuff happens too. Like not just pDAI. Like you mentioned pDAI, and I'm very happy that people deposit that. But Pulsex, even like right at the moment of launch, someone came with like millions in pDAI and Pulsex. And
mm,
now yesterday, I think it was someone who just deposited 1 million in Pulse, and he said, "Yeah, when the TVL grows a little, I have another 1 million to bring." So stuff like that. It's like, okay. And then when I talk to these whales, because usually some of them make themselves known, and they're basically the sentiment is like, we're so happy that you built something on Pulsechain, not just pDAI, but just for Pulse and for Pulsex, because there's not a lot there. And I feel so honored with so many people being happy with what we're doing. So yeah, this is going as well as I could have hoped in that regard. Like in the way that the community responds, it's awesome, really.
oh, beautiful, man. Yeah, I must admit, I was very, very, very happy when you guys pivoted from Arbitrum to launch to Pulse Chain first. I know you're going to
The
still go to
best
Arbitrum.
decision ever.
Yeah, why? Why is the best decision ever?
Man, Arbitrum is tough in community wise. Like, how do you reach the people? It's difficult. Whereas Pulsechain is alive, it's vibrant. People are interested. They
Mm.
want to know, but they're critical, and some of them are cynical. But at least they're interested. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna make
Mm.
something. What are you gonna make, bro?" And
Mm.
I have that. I prefer that 10 times over people who are like, "Oh yeah, another protocol, sure, whatever." Like the disinterest that you meet elsewhere, and the hardships that you go through to even reach people is difficult. Whereas in Pulsechain, at least you get a lot of interest. A lot of it is cynical and critical, but at least people want to know what you're going to do, and because our communication has been basically the same from the beginning on. We've never pivoted anything in our communication, and I really go with, but maybe not. I think radical honesty is too much to say, but genuineness all the time. Like this is our intention. This is what we do. This is how we make our money. This is what we want to bring. This is what we want to do with it. Like it stays the same, and then we actually, as soon as things work, we actually do it the way that we said we did, and this trust is building. If you as soon like. I was super happy with the fact that we got this startup liquidity, like per token, like 50K, right? I was super thankful that people wanted to bring that up, and that we had that startup liquidity. And then you launch, and in day one you're at 3 mil. Like, what? That is a different kind of, that's a different level almost, and I think that if we start growing like this, and we're not even providing interest yet, like I hope during this weekend we'll start that up, and that the interest starts being good, and that the rewards and the grows are bigger than they are now, which makes it more interesting for people to buy Esteem or token and stuff like that. Like if we have this start, then I'm very interested in where it's going. Like that, this is such. I'm just super thankful, and the people in the community, they're very understanding. Like we have a lot of startup issues. Like we as I said, we had to pull one of our contracts, the flash loan contract, because there was a bug in it, and that is that's annoying. You don't want to do that. You don't want to have to take a contract away from the UI and make it unavailable, and the pDAI borrowing isn't even working yet. And like this is a little, maybe not the alpha, it could be a wrong word because alpha is usually positive, but we need to isolate pDAI, and I can explain why maybe later. But we're going to have to isolate pDAI, so people are going to have to use a different wallet for pDAI, and they can borrow on that wallet only pDAI against the pDAI favor LP. We need to do that because of safety, and I can explain. But even though that is still the case, and we still need to actually do it, the fact that people are just so happy with what we already have, that like couldn't have wished for anything better. I'm just very thankful.
Community is definitely the X factor of Pulsechain, that no other blockchain has a community like this. So maybe so just two questions before we get into the protocol. So first of all, you mentioned 7.2 million. Now, what was your expectations at the start for how much liquidity, or what were you hoping for? And so how much has it overshot what you were hoping for realistically?
I always knew that Pulsechain had some whales, right? But I was thinking that these people are, holding back a little, see where it goes first, and but maybe put in 100K if that is not much for them, or something like that. So I wouldn't have been surprised that by now or by Sunday we would have like 1.2 million or something.
Wow.
But but I would not have been surprised. I would have been happy, but I would not have been that surprised. That would have been like a good kind of startup. So this is like 7 times that, man. This is awesome. It's great.
Brilliant.
And so there's that. And well, nothing more to say about that.
So the second question that I had, so we've already got some questions coming in from the community as well. The second question that I had was about the pDAI. So you mentioned you had to have pDAI isolated for safety reasons. Is that because of the volatility of pDAI or something else?
It's because of the liquidity. pDAI is extreme liquidity with the ATROPA ecosystem, but the ATROPA ecosystem is very contained within itself, and via ATROPA, via Bear, via all the other things that are within the ATROPA ecosystem, there are only low amounts of liquidity to go towards Pulse, PulseX, Inc., all the other stuff, and pDAI, and these are low. And the largest pair, I don't have the exact right numbers right now, but last time I checked, it was like 2 million or something between pDAI and Pulse. And if you think about that, and you have 2 million in liquidity, that means that in that liquidity pool, there's about 1 million of Pulse and 1 million of pDAI, right? So if you have with our size now, and say that there would be 1 million that we would have to liquidate, you can't get that out. It's impossible. Like maybe 500,000 would be something that we can still safely do, but you can't get that much out. So if liquidations happen and we would have to buy pDAI suddenly, or we'd have to sell pDAI suddenly to make the liquidation go right, we'd just fail, and we'd get in bad debt, and our protocol would basically not be able to recompensate people's money, and that's dangerous. We don't want that. So we need larger liquidity pools to safely do that. And for example, between Pulse and PulseX, I don't know what it is, but it's at least 8 million, right? It's a lot higher. And eventually maybe we'll have to be careful of that too. So, but we can set caps. But the thing with we're using the Aave code, and the Aave code has its limitations, and I'm going to give an announcement about that to give the more of the specifics. But you cannot say, for example, and I would have loved this to say this, you cannot say, hey, we can cross-lend up to 500K and the rest needs to be isolated or something. It's not that sophisticated. You just need to make a choice. Either you cross-lend, and then you can make a hard cap if you want. And you need to set that hard cap in dollars too, which is annoying, right? But either you do that, or you purely isolate it. And the other annoying thing is that if you purely isolate it, then you need to do that on a different wallet. So that's what we're also going to do. So people will need to have a different wallet to borrow pDAI against pDAI favor, is basically the way that it goes. But the good thing about that is that the BetterBank system has been designed originally with just a single token in mind. This later iteration of having multiple tokens and cross-lending, basically, as I say, came later. I designed it with just a stablecoin in mind and nothing else. So it will work with just one token, because that is how the system works. You will still get your interest. You will still, make money that way, because it will still utilize the fractional reserve system the way that it should be utilized. So what the only difference then is that you won't necessarily be able to directly borrow like Pulse or PulseX against pDAI favor. What we can allow for those people who are that brave, and we never recommend it, but it's possible. What we can allow is borrowing directly against pDAI, but we need to hard cap that to like 500K, and that is 500K not per person. That is in total.
Okay, maybe just explain that when we're actually looking at the
sure.
the front ends. But what I guess what I'll do is I want to bring up the screen so we can, because it's a beautiful website here, but because you mentioned Aave, so we've already got so many questions here already. So
open the DApp, please, if you would.
What's that, sorry?
Open the DApp, please, if you would, the Pulsechain DApp.
Yes,
right in the top?
Yes, before I open the DApp. So do you mind just answering this question here? So how's your protocol different to the existing Aave fork fiat on Pulsechain? I don't know if you know anything about that.
Oh, it's very different. Like it utilizes the same system, but it's basically like if you have a bike, you've got the medieval theme. That's interesting. Some people do. It basically uses the like if you've got a motorbike, for example, it uses wheels, and if you've got a car, it uses wheels too. But they're still very
Do we
different
lose Nicky?
vehicles. I'm still here. Hello.
I think potentially we lost Nicky.
Hello, I am still here.
Or have we lost me? Chat. Is chat still here? Anyone
I
in
hear you.
chat? Oh, yeah, looks like we lost Nicky.
I-
Oh, there we go.
Hello, I'm still here.
Yes, you're back.
I've been hearing you all this time. I'm sorry.
Oh, all good.
Okay. Model says I've got both of you. So you were losing me. That was it. But your video is still to me.
Oh, okay. I don't know. There might have been some sort of glitch, but anyway.
Yeah, I was explaining like how is it different to Aave, and I used the allegory of wheels being on motorbikes and wheels being on cars, and it being two different vehicles, right? They both move, but they are different. Oh, you move again. That's good. With the Aave protocol, it is meant to borrow one asset against the other. Like you borrow stablecoin against ETH or the other way around and stuff like that. So that is the basis of Aave. And Aave also, therefore, wants to keep the interest like reasonable, not really going over 10% or whatever. Our system is basically used or meant to generate large interest. And it does that by having this seigniorage protocol in the background, and that is the Wildlands. So the addition of that Wildlands aspect makes it very different, because that cranks up the interest, and that also cranks up the borrowing potential of what people have. And what that creates is that people have sort of like a possibility to invest in the growth of the protocol, because that is basically what the Wildlands does. The Wildlands makes money as soon as there is a lot of deposits in the Stronghold, and if that grows. So yeah.
Okay, I love that, which also really answers this question here. Before we get into the protocol, I do want to just give a shout out to Steve here. I don't know if you've seen his videos. So he's already started making videos on Rumble. He's done some tutorials, and obviously he's absolutely loving it. And he did mention here, you can't have BetterBank, Steve. I'm going to be the BetterBank Cole. You already have ATROPA. So I want to shout him out, and I want to connect you with him. So hopefully maybe you can even go on his stream on Rumble. He's only just started streaming, and he's pretty much starting just now for the sole purpose of streaming about BetterBank. So this is
cool, man.
Extremely passionate about it. So
Steve, just hit me up at some point. We can have a talk or a stream or whatever. Like I'm game.
Okay, beautiful. All right. So
you can find me in the chat.
Comments in the chat that I'm frozen in time. As long as people can hear me, that's the main thing, or really not as long as people can hear Nicky. So Nicky, let's get into it. So talk me through the protocol.
Well, let's start with the easy part. That's the Stronghold.
Stronghold.
Yeah, that's the orange button on your medieval theme. It seems that I think Windows 11 still shows the medieval theme, and Windows 10 shows the space theme. And this is something we're going to do, I think.
Which is because the space theme is freaking dope. This is really.
That's what it's supposed to look like. And then
okay.
I have two laptops, and one of them shows the space theme, and one of them shows the medieval theme.
Interesting.
We're gonna, maybe we'll give people the option, because there are some people who like the medieval theme. So
true.
We're gonna have to look through that. Anyway, the Stronghold simply works by depositing assets. If you go down, then you can deposit your Pulse, your Pulsex, and your pDAI, and get interest on it. And that's it. And there's like at this moment, there's still two deposit buttons, one's for Pulse and one's for Red Pulse, but they're basically the same. In the background, it all becomes Red Pulse.
Okay.
So that's what that does. And then on the Wildlands side, which is the other side, those people, if they use the system as intended, those people will borrow that and pay interest, and then you get your beautiful interest in the Stronghold. That's what
Okay.
it's about. Yeah.
Okay, so the Wildlands, what's happening in the Wildlands is giving the interest in the Stronghold.
Well, on the Wildlands side, people deposit. They deposit their favor LPs. So either pDAI favor, or Pulse favor, or Pulse X favor. And those LPs, you can't borrow them. And because you cannot borrow them, they do not give interest in and of themselves. They're just, you deposit them, they serve as collateral, but you cannot borrow them. So you get no interest on those, but you can use them as collateral. And then you can borrow the other asset against it. So if you have like, let's say $200 worth of Pulse favor, you can deposit that, and then you can borrow up to 80%, which is $160 worth of Pulse. Take that out. And the funny thing about the Wildlands is that you can just leave it be then. Just leave it be, because if you get liquidated eventually, it doesn't really hurt, because there's several ways that you can get your favor. One of them is that you get it because you've staked Esteem, so you get it for free over time. You get Pulse every day, or Pulse favor every day, and then you well, hopefully soon you can flash loan it in again. But even if you do it in different ways, if you create the LP in different ways, if you then borrow against it, you immediately recoup 60% of the value that was put into the buying. So say you buy $100 worth of Pulse and you immediately borrow against it, you can borrow $60. And in this case, because it's Pulse, you can borrow either Pulse or Pulse X. That's your choice. So you can immediately recoup 60%. Now, that is why we have the Esteem bonus. As long as the TWAPs, which you can see in the graphs, as long as the TWAPs are under 3.0, when you buy your favors, you get some extra Esteem. And that extra Esteem bonus is 44% of basically what you bought. So if you buy $100 worth of Pulse favor, you get $44 worth of Esteem. And that is so that people are not in loss when they buy Pulse favor. So as soon as but what they get is the Esteem at a discount. That is basically what that function does. You get the Esteem at a discount. The other way to get the favor is if you get it printed in the groves. So you're never in loss if you get liquidated on those assets, on those liquidity pool assets. If you've done it the way that you should, you're never in loss. If you do weird things with it, like speculate on the price or something like that, yeah, that's on you. We can't, that might be good, but it might also make you lose. That's speculation. But if you immediately borrow and take out your 60%, you're good.
Okay. So just in terms of basically what I want to do is I just want to be clicking some buttons. So the Pulse FLP, how do I go about getting the Pulse FLP?
I don't even know what page you're on. I think you clicked on Pulse XLP, yeah.
So then I'm on Wildlands, and then in collateral. So then it's got the asset. So I want to be able to deposit something here.
Good. Yeah. So this page needs to have buttons to deposit. Actually, in the design, it has that, but it doesn't have it yet. The only thing that you have a button to deposit the LP, but you don't have the LP yet, so that's not how it works. So
So how do I go about getting that LP?
Yeah, go to the groves.
Go to the groves.
Or to the marketplace. So the marketplace makes in the marketplace, like if you click on the marketplace.
Marketplace, yep.
These are Here you can buy your favors.
Right.
And you see now,
Okay.
for example, like the Pulsex favor has a TWAP of 3.13. So if you buy that now, you will not get an Esteem bonus. So I would say don't buy it.
Okay.
So don't buy the Pulsex favor. You can buy the Pulse favor or the pDAI favor. That's fine because they're under the 3.0 TWAP, and the Pulse favor actually is a good price right now, right? So that's low. Because the idea is that it kind of maxes out at 3.
So what is the TWAP value? What's that all about?
Okay, so the TWAP is time weighted average price. That's what TWAP stands for. And in our case, it's over an epoch, and our epochs are 1 hour long. So
okay.
So the TWAP is what the average price was in the last epoch.
Okay. So basically it's
yeah,
you've got the note here anyway. So and then it's going to tell. So I'm getting basically an estimated bonus Esteem to receive 1.36.
Yes.
Because it's way under.
No, that's not because it's way under. With the Esteem, you either get it or you don't.
Okay.
If it's under TWAP 3.0, you get it. If it's over TWAP 3.0, you don't.
Okay. And then obviously you get it or you don't based on, you said that the hourly epochs? Like if
so if in the last if over time in the last epoch, so say it's now with me it's 3:30, so the epoch from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, the average price in that determines whether you get it or not.
Okay. All right. So now that I have that, so I've got my 1 million Pulse favor.
Awesome. The thing is though, like now what I would love you to do, but what you can't do, is go and use the flash loan contract. And this flash loan contract also needs a different place, but where it was last time was in the groves. So if you go to the groves, and this is also, by the way, where you can mint Esteem here in the marketplace, but that's a different thing.
Okay. So there's supposed to be something where I can press here, but I can't.
If you go to the groves and you go to your Pulse favor tab there, so the PLSF tab.
Yep.
There. You see a button there that says add liquidity. Add Pulsechain liquidity.
Yep.
Or the other way around. So if you click there.
Oh, nice. Okay. So then I got
this one. Yeah, this one now had. You can still add liquidity like normal. Like this is add liquidity where you provide the Pulse and the Pulsechain. It's a good way of providing liquidity. And even here, if you do it this way and you then borrow, you still get like 60% worth of the Pulse favor plus anything of the Pulse, right? So you just did $1 million worth of Pulse, or something like that. So you now add liquidity. That means that as soon as you do this and you borrow against it, are you going to do it? That's cool, man.
I mean, yeah, why not? What's the best way to do it? Just this way? I mean,
I'd say this one here you directly zap with just Pulse. That's the way that the zapper works. And this used to have a third function, and it will be added hopefully within this weekend. Will be back added, which was a flash loan function, where you can enter with just Pulse favor, because then it immediately already borrows the required Pulse for you to create the liquidity pool, and then immediately deposits it with an automated loan that you already have. But you can just add it normally now if you want. So
yeah, I'm happy to add it. So, but here we go. So approve to continue.
Yeah.
So Zap would basically if I put $1 million, it would split it in half and then create Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so Zap's
Yeah,
just
those are pretty normal in DeFi, right? The Zapper contracts are
yeah,
pretty well known.
sure. Okay.
The flash loan contract is a bit less known. That's a system that we designed ourselves, which is also why this contract needs revisiting. It's custom.
That's okay. So just tell me now. So do you mind if I kind of just ask you questions as we go along as well?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So okay? So now I'm adding liquidity to Pulse F and Pulse.
Yeah. Pulse favor.
Pulse favor.
Yeah.
I'm just did it add it yet? I thought I pressed.
No,
add.
you gave the permission. Now you still need to do it.
I thought I'd press this as well. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm providing liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the benefit of providing liquidity?
That you can borrow against it.
That's okay, so then I can borrow against it. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So
and the reason that we did this as liquidity is because then we always have a huge liquidity market. We always have deep liquidity because everyone who borrows is liquidity.
Right. Okay, gotcha. What I'm going to do is I'm just, not that one, this one here. I'm just going to check because I did press add.
Maybe check if you have it.
The transactions went through. Actually, it should be fine if I just go through this. That's fine. I'll bring the screen back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's my computer or not, but I certainly approved failed with the revert ERC insufficient allowance. Interesting.
Maybe try a little bit less. I don't know why there's insufficient allowance.
Oops.
But maybe I should have my my dev look at this video. You can check.
Yeah, I get sometimes some weird things happening with dApps, to be honest. I don't know if it's a Rabby thing. But
could be, and sometimes it's also like the way, like the last number, the round off problem.
True. That might be it, actually. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that might be it. Let's do that. Oops. So we'll go max, but we'll get rid of all the decimals. Yeah, sometimes. Oh.
Well, that's a lot, mate.
That's right. Hang on a second. Hey.
Anyway, so the idea is that I'm gonna talk you through it because it's otherwise, need to. Yeah, just do some then. Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, let's just assume this works. It's obviously worked for other people, but yeah, there's weird shit happening. So.
Yeah. So what you do now is okay. I'm good. I'm just confused by why it's not working. Anyway, so when you now add,
I'm confused too.
When you now add liquidity, which you can do back on the Wildlands page, the main page, since you should be having liquidity. Fill transaction again. I don't know, man. It seems to be working a lot, but normally.
Well,
anyway, you can deposit it. Yeah, there it is.
That's weird. I do have it. So
it's actually there.
It did go through. Okay.
Now you can deposit it. You need to prove again and deposit, but we can talk along. So you deposit it now, and the idea of the Wildlands basically is that you then borrow to the max. That is the way that it's designed, that you immediately borrow to the max. And then you what you then get, since you went in with 1 million pulse, 2 million pulse in total, you will get like 80% of that is 1.6 million pulse that you can borrow directly. So of your 2 million pulse that you put in, 1.6 million pulse has been recouped, but you also got a value of Esteem equal to 440,000 pulse, because that is your bonus, and that is cheaper than directly minting Esteem, because if you would have directly minted Esteem, it would not be 44%, but it would be, like in this calculation, would be 40%. So you get a 10% discount on Esteem. And essentially, that is what you do it for. You do it not for anything else. You do it for the Esteem. Because now you've got all done, and now you can borrow all your pulse back, or at least 1.6 million pulse. You can borrow back if you want. Or you can do Pulsex if you like.
I'll borrow some pDAI.
Oh yeah, if you can, you might still be able to borrow pDAI if you like.
Borrowing this amount will reduce your risk. So you're saying you max it.
Yeah, you max out. Like in these buttons, yeah. These are buttons that are native to the Aave UI.
Okay.
And they've just been used like that by the front-end developers. So the front-end developers, to save time, have used some of the native Aave UI instead of our custom design. And I get that, but it needs to be updated still to our custom design, because that's basically designed for BetterBank. But for now, it looks like this. So you now got your pDAI back basically to the value of 1.6 million pulse. So you're basically recovered. Now your 0.44 million worth of pulse in pDAI, in Esteem, you can use. So if you go and look at that, go to the groves.
Go back to the groves.
Go back to the groves.
And
or
then
maybe first go to the marketplace. I'm sorry, because you still need to claim it.
Okay. So claim the bonus.
Yes. You've got a bonus there, the 1.35 Esteem that you've got.
And then Esteem is the share token?
Yes.
So this is the one that you just want to hold on to pretty much forever.
Yeah, because it gives you money every day. It's basically the way to create passive income. It might not always give you the same amount of passive income. If BetterBank is growing fast, then it gives you a lot of passive income. And if BetterBank is growing slow, or is shrinking, or is stagnant, then it might give you a little. But it will always give you some.
Wow. So I just minted, I claimed 1.35, I think it was. And at the moment, the value of it is $16.05. That's pretty good.
And that's going to increase like 25 cents per day. Indefinitely, unless we change something. But like the way that it is, it's going to be indefinitely.
And this was one of the strategies that we spoke about in our last stream, was really accumulating Esteem ASAP.
Yeah, I would do that. I would do that because it's gonna increase in value indefinitely. So the earlier you get it, the better. But if you go up now, and now you claimed it, so you go up now, and now you go to the groves.
Yep. Whereabouts in the groves shall I go?
Yeah, you can choose which one to stake it in. You're always welcome to change that after you don't. So you've got 3 staking pools. You see these 3 buttons a bit lower on your page.
Oh,
no,
sorry.
No. On the over, you can also do it here if you want.
Yep, gotcha.
The overview is easier. Like now you can choose your pool. So you can choose your pDAI favor pool, your PulseX favor pool, your PulseF favor pool. And you can choose that. For example, the PulseX favor, because of the high TWAP, prints 3% of its supply every day. That's high. Whereas the Pulse favor pool only prints 0.9% of its supply pool every day. So that one goes a bit lower. So that's why it was a good idea to buy Pulse instead of directly mint Esteem, or buy Pulse Favor, instead of directly mint Esteem, because then that also pushes that Pulse Favor price up so that the printing goes faster.
Right. Okay.
So if you're interested in making printing go faster, then you need to push that price up until it reaches 3.0. Beyond 3.0, it's no use.
Okay. And that price will go up as more and more people
buy it.
Buy it.
And it can go as low as. So if you now choose your pool and you stake it.
Let's do Pulse X because it's 3. Sure.
So you stake it there, you max it out, you stake your Esteem.
So $22, $22.80, $22.61 rather. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, that was the bonus you got.
Yeah.
So you should be already slightly in profit because you got a bonus that was higher than what you.
Yeah, exactly. I could just pull my LP and I could just sell the Esteem and I've just made $20.
Yeah. No, you can't directly sell the Esteem for the full price.
Oh, okay.
If you want to sell your Esteem, I would always tell you to wait until the price has appreciated so much that even with all the taxes and stuff like that, you're still in profit.
Okay.
At the same time, though, if you have Esteem that long and you see that every day you get a little because you have a Esteem stake, then you might not want to ever sell it. But that's up to people themselves. We created that option of being able to basically burn Esteem and get some favor for it. The only reason we created that option is because sometimes people just want to get out of a protocol.
Okay.
For whatever reason, right? Maybe because they never want to see crypto again or whatever, right? I'm not there to decide for people why they want to get out, but there needs to be an out. And it's unfair if you then just, are in a loss. So your percentage of the pool right now is 0.04%. And you see that number there, which says the 3% of supply is so much Pulse Favor. So that Pulse Favor supply multiplied by 0.04% is how much you should get. Now, that daily rewards number, I believe, is still wrong, but I'm not sure. Like it was wrong the last couple of days. It was way too much. But you will get, in these pending rewards, you will get your due Esteem. And it's always that calculation. Like the supply times the amount of, like in this case, 3% per day, times your percentage of the pool. That's what you get. And that's what you get every day until you decide to stake in another pool. Then you will get that.
Okay. So, realistically, just a very simple thing. If people had a lot of pDAI or a lot of Pulse X, I guess they could swap for Pulsechain and then swap for Pulse Favor and then stake the Esteem in either the pDAI or the Pulse X.
Yeah, or they can directly mint Esteem if they want. Like, for example, if you have Pulse X and you don't want to swap it for anything else right now, and you see like, oh, the TWAP is over 3.0, but I still want to buy it. I still want, use my Pulse X. Then you can instead just directly mint Esteem. That's at the marketplace, by the way.
That's in the marketplace, right? Okay. Yeah. And then so the cost of minting. So what do we got? So okay, then so
you just pay the mint price. Hey, it just updated. I see. Like the Esteem price.
Nice. So is that because it's a new day or?
Yeah, apparently it was set to 4:00, which is interesting because I thought it should be at noon, but maybe two epochs too much or whatever have been called, because we had to update the epochs to come to, and it may have been 2 over. But you can you can mint Esteem like that directly, and then you can that's just a direct buy.
Sure.
Take care that you still have gas, man, if you want to do that.
Yeah,
This is another
I'm not,
way of getting a Steam.
gotcha.
So if all the favors are over 3.0 and it makes no sense, you don't get any bonus Steam anymore, then this is the way. This is the way at that moment in time. Because then you don't get it as a bonus anymore, so you just won it directly.
Okay, so really, in very simple terms, with the Wildlands, the kind of things that we want to be looking for, it was the Grove. So if I had pDAI or PulseX, basically we want to be looking at this price as being less than 3.
Yeah.
So this is currently quote unquote overvalued.
Yeah.
So these are quote unquote good value.
By the way, what it shows right now is still, this is not the price, but the TWAP. It says price, but it's the TWAP. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
We'll update that.
Yep.
But anyway, the fact that it's 3.31 means that you can still use it fully, but you don't get a Steam bonus when you buy anything, and it doesn't affect the percentage rate any more than 3. However, if it goes more than 3.5, the system doesn't even calculate anything over 3.5 as proper collateral. So even if the price is like 7, then it only counts half of it for collateral, because we really do not want the prices of these favors to go up that much. We really want people to switch to minting a Steam if the interest, now interest is an interesting word, right? If people want it so much, if the demand is so high, then we want people to switch to minting a Steam, because if you mint a Steam, then 80% of what you use directly gets deposited in the Stronghold, in the backhand, in the treasury.
Gotcha.
So that also improves how much people can borrow.
Okay, so in terms of what we just borrowed, so you mentioned earlier that the thing that you want to do is really just max borrow. So you're going like max leverage. So what then would you recommend that we do with what we've just borrowed? So I borrowed whatever it was, $120 worth of pDAI. What would I then do with that?
You can decide what you want to do with that. Like either live your life with it, or you can put it in Stronghold to get interest on it, or you can, go for another loop and buy either some more Esteem or swap it for Pulse again and try and get that Pulse number up, or whatever you want to do.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So if, for example, if you have a good number of Esteem, like say you've got 100 Esteem, and you just get every day you get a certain amount of Pulse favor, you borrow against it, and what you do is just you sell the Pulse that you borrow, and you convert it to fiat, and you go and buy ice cream. You can do that, or you can take it and put it in Stronghold again and get our interest. I mean, it's your choice. It's your asset, so you can do with it whatever you want and whatever you feel like. We're just here to make sure that you get more.
Nice. Okay, so could literally do that, and then you're just creating a little loop.
Yeah, you could.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Interesting. I like that. I still have to kind of wrap my head around these numbers and the significance of these numbers, but
I come from a background of seigniorage protocols, so this is very native to me. But seigniorage protocols have been such a small, tiny part of DeFi, so it's a new thing. And I remember when I first learned about seigniorage protocols, it took me months, so or maybe not months, but a month to really understand like how everything worked. And seigniorage protocols are a little different because then the share token, is also volatile and stuff like that. So I changed a lot about how this Seedrich protocol works, but it has a lot of these aspects.
Okay. All right. So yeah, basically, if I just summarize these numbers for myself, I suppose, and for people that are watching, when it's lower, you want to stake, but then when it's higher, when it's lower, you want to basically add it into LP so that you can get the Esteem bonus. But then when it's
Yeah,
higher, that's what you want to stake into because that's where you're going to get more yield.
exactly.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool, man. I like that. All right. Interesting. What else have we got here? So we've been through the groves, the marketplace. Is there anything? I'm in the marketplace. Okay, the marketplace. We went through the marketplace. What's smelting all about?
Yeah, that is the opt out. That is like you can your Esteem, you always get like 70% of the current price of Esteem. So if you would sell your Esteem or smelt your Esteem right now, you would definitely be in loss. And you even get it in favor. When you smelt, you directly mint favor. So there's new favor minted when you do that. So that also increases the supply and stuff like that. But then you have favor, and if you borrow against favor, you recoup 60%. If you sell it, you recoup 50%. So basically, your selling price of the Esteem, if you do a direct sell, is only 35% of the original Esteem price. So right now, for example, Esteem is $16.75. Like if you wait for say 200 days, then it would be $66.75. If you then recoup like 35% of that, versus right now you're not in loss. But if you don't wait long enough, then that would be a loss. So this is basically an incentive for people to keep the Esteem long enough that this is basically a stay in long enough, bro, because otherwise you'll be in loss.
So the smelting price is 70% of the value of the Esteem. So it would cost me $11.72 to smelt it, correct?
No. That's what you would receive in favor.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you lose 30%.
You lose 30%.
But then you've got favor, and the favor is always is never really, you never get 100% for your favor. You either get 60% borrowed, 50% bought, sold. So
okay,
you got to add those up.
But where's the so like what does the favor have to do with it though? I'm a little bit confused about that. So if I mint the Esteem right now and I mint one of those, and then I'd have one Esteem and then I'd smelt it, how does favor come into that?
You get, when the smelting price, you get that in favor. So you don't
and in favor of one of these tokens, or
you get it in one of the favor tokens. You can choose. Like if you click on it, you can click on it and see.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So if you smelt, you can smelt for any of the 3 favor types, and then you get that, and then you can use that within the system again, or direct sell it at 50% loss, or like whatever you want. But so the getting out of Esteem is, if you do it without waiting long enough, is a loss action. But if you do wait long enough, and it's fine. Like if the Esteem you bought today, if you wait 2 years, you'll be in profit, despite all the the facts that despite the fact that it's only a percentage.
So essentially, you're incentivizing long-term holding.
Waiting, yes, we're incentivizing time in this, and all the while you have it, you get your daily prints. I mean, if you stake it, but you should stake it because that's what it's for. It's the only thing you can do with it. So
okay, all right.
So it gives you daily income until you decide to get rid of it.
Okay, gotcha. So in this case, I need to still sort of work my way around the protocol. I don't have any of this, even though it's okay, because this is just what I've done so far, your deposits and what you borrowed. So then I need to get more. So I'd go to, it was Marketplace, wasn't it?
I want to go into one of these very cynical messages here. This says, like, I click button says, stake your valuable coin for this shit coin and get more of another shit coin. I love this. Anyway, so say that you have said that you say that you've put in like a pulse, right? So your valuable coin pulse, and you put that in, and you get your Esteem, and then you basically, you get your Esteem, and you get Pulse favor. When you get your Pulse favor, that allows you, of course, to borrow your Pulse. So even though you get our shitcoin, you just get Pulse, basically. If you just use, because you borrow it, so basically you stake for Pulse in a way. So it's not even that. And the other aspect, this is going to rock faster in your sleeves. Okay, that's just funny. I'm not even gonna give that, but I just wanted to give that one thing because that's sort of like an argument against it. It's not true.
Bro, it's crypto. Everything's a shit coin. Like, what are we talking about here?
Well, and by the way, talking about, like, some people have different ideas about what is a shit coin and what not. We are planning to ASAP, which hopefully is a month, could be anywhere, but we are planning to move towards listing INC, the incentive token, and pDAI, like a proper stable. And when the interest ramps up and stuff, that means that you can get on a stable coin, you can get this kinds of interest, like 50% or 70% on a stable coin in the Stronghold. I think that's going to be very interesting for people, because then you're not even exposed to volatility anymore.
Okay. Interesting. Well, is that what you want to do now? Should we start going over some of these? Is there anything else that you want to show on the protocol before we start going through some of the questions? I just wanted to really show how this loop can work by just literally going through the process by selling my pDAI now for Pulse, and then I'm adding it, getting a good bonus, and then I'll basically stake that again. I can borrow and and just keep this little loop going until I basically run out, and then I'm maxing up my Esteem, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, so if you want to do that, I've had a guy talk to me about that looped it until he had more and more and more Esteem. Like, that's a choice, and it's fine. Like, that's not a bad thing to do, especially now when the Esteem is still so low. I would consider, especially the first month's Esteem is a great price, and it's diminishing returns on the Esteem, but we do. Like, I think it's still interesting, like, in a year or two. It's just not as interesting as it is now. But that is always, when you come later to a protocol, we still want to reward early investors. It's just that what we do not want is for the early investors to dump on the later investors. And that's also what this system does not do. Like, you can't dump on anyone. You can leave, but you can't dump. So we're very happy with that. Or let's talk about, from a personal perspective, I'm very happy about that. That, I've got a system here where even though an early investor still is more in profit than a later one, when you leave, you don't dump. So that's great. Very happy with that.
Yeah. I like it, man. That's cool. So is there any other kind of strategies that you wanted to share with people or discuss while we're here?
I think that this explanation was good, and you can devise your own strategy from that. I mean, I'm not here to tell you what to do or how to do it. What we are going to do, and I've announced it a couple of times, and that's about that interest, because you see a shit interest right there. In
on the Stronghold.
Yeah, on the Stronghold side, that interest is really low. So
it is low. Yeah,
it's extremely low.
Yeah, somebody was asking about that, I think. What are the plans to make the yield go up?
Yeah, so what we do is that once we have a bit of a gauge, so first of all, we need to, update everything so that things work well, because, we have some startup issues. But once we've done that, and then hopefully this weekend still, what we will do is mint enough favor to be able to create positions on all three, so that the interest rate is about 50%. Yeah, that's actually that question. How the APYs are going to increase.
Yeah.
So what we do is we mint enough favors, supply directly into it. And then we LP that and deposit that, borrow against it, and then with what we borrow, we basically, well, some people have done weird shit in the beginning and they made tickets about that. So we need to overborrow a little bit so that, we can refund those people. But other than that, the only other thing that we will do with it is create more LP and then put that in the treasury, baby, basically, because we have an LP cushion, because that's what the system needs. So we just borrow enough so that the interest rate then goes to like about 50%. And then there is so much supply that the daily issuance in the groves will mean a lot more, because there's more supply, so there's more printing. So the groves becomes more interesting then. And the interest rates are up to 50%. And I believe that if we do that, then most likely the Wildlands is able to keep up, and that it will slowly increase, because the Wildlands, when it prints at its 3% a day, will definitely outpace the Stronghold interest. So the only way that the Stronghold can grow faster than the Wildlands is if people deposit like a lot of money all at once.
Right. Okay.
So as long as, this is how the Wildlands will eventually keep up. But what we also want to do, like obviously when we borrow these positions, we just leave them, because eventually they're going to be liquidated. And that's fine, because the only reason that we create these positions is to jump up the interest, is to create a basic supply that's large enough. And the whole idea is that it eventually, just vanishes. I call them burner wallets. We just use a wallet, create a position on them, and then basically forget about them, because they just get liquidated on their own. And that liquidation will make sure that these assets that we borrowed will eventually return to the market, because we don't want to, we don't want to take which is not ours. I mean, we take a nice 20% of protocol income as a team, and I think that's fair. But we shouldn't, that should be it.
Okay, I like it. So let's try and smash through some of these questions. So what functions will the flash loans be capable of in Pulsechain?
Yeah, so the flash loans have been on previously on the previous contract. They already worked, but they were a little faulty. So what it does is basically, say you've got 100, say you've got that million of pDAI favor, or million, say pDAI favor. I was going to say Pulse favor, but pDAI favor is the same thing. You got 1 million in pDAI favor. Then what that does is it borrows the other million. Million is a lot, isn't it?
A million is a lot.
A million. A million is a lot. Let's say 1 million Pulse. So you got a million Pulse in Pulse favor. So what that does is it borrows the Pulse to make the liquidity pool, and what you then have is 2 million Pulse worth of liquidity pool. and then it deposits that, and then the flash loan is repaid, which leaves you with a collateral of 2 million Pulse and a loan of 1 million Pulse. And then you can still borrow the rest, right? Because you are at a 50% LTV then, and then you can borrow up to 80% LTV. By the way, the LTV health right now is in numbers like 1.06 or 1.07 or 1.5 or whatever. That should be in percentages, and it will be, because that's easier. But that's still the way. Anyway, that's how the flash loan works. It will make it easier to deposit your favor without having to sell anything or without having to add fresh capital, because that's usually annoying.
Nice. So now a more of a hard-hitting question from Clintrons. This all seems very complex. What is the value prop? Why would someone use the protocol?
Okay. I think the simple answer is because it will get you in profit. But yeah, it's complex. If you consider this too complex, which I wouldn't blame you, then just use the Stronghold. And right now the interest rate is shit, but it will be like at least 50% by Sunday, Monday, when we do that. And you can just put your deposits there, and you get the same, you get your interest in the same token. So if you deposit Pulse, you get Pulse. If you deposit pDAI, you get pDAI. You make more of the same. If you start out with say 100,000 pDAI, and you wait a year and the average yield is like 50%, then you end up with 150,000 pDAI in a year. And I think that's a good value proposition. And if you don't like any of these volatile tokens, then go for eDAI when we launch it. Go for dollars and make your $1,000 go to 1,500 or 1,700 in a year. I think that's a good value proposition. The other value proposition is the Wildlands, which is basically sort of like investing in the growth of the protocol. That is, if you like this kind of stuff, if you like the way the crypto protocols work and all the things that you can do, and also if you like passive income, because that's what it's made for. The Wildlands is basically a way to create passive income. Every day you get printed some, which you can use. A good value proposition in my view. That's what it's for.
And you're going to say something else?
No, this is basically the value proposition.
Yeah, these comments from Steve. So it's complicated until you get it. You have to understand the strategy is to acquire Esteem and
in the Wildlands. Yeah,
it prints favor daily. You're essentially using debt in creative ways to acquire passive income. Flash alone is the game changer. BetterBank is unlike anything else, truly unique. I'll explain how in my third video. So Steve, definitely go check out his third videos, and hopefully he can tee something up with you. Apparently he was DMing you as well, so you have had some conversations with him. But this is the way that I'm thinking about it just on today's conversation. Esteem, that was the thing that I wanted to... That's the first thing that I wanted to do when this protocol came out as well, based on our last discussion, is you're getting a share of the value of the protocol basically with Esteem. So I really love that concept.
That's also what I did. Like with any money that I had, which was a couple of thousand, I just went straight into Esteem like on the first day. Like it's just like that felt good. Like because I know that is where a lot of value
man,
lies. Like it's what I did.
It's really just about also. I mean, you're locking your. I mean, if you're just sitting on tokens and they're not generating any yield, then that's basically what you can do. You can convert sort of passive or rather static dead assets into life with favor and then put it into LP and get some Esteem. So you can just get life from it. So why would someone want them? I mean, why would anyone want anything? That's the thing. So I think it's a fair question, but it's also like... why would you want pDAI? Yeah. Why would you want Pulse? Why would you want PulseX? I'm not saying that in like a derogatory way to those, but it's like, to me, it's literally like that question is applicable to every single token in cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
So, but for me, Esteem has the value proposition. That's what I really like about Esteem is you're basically Oh, here we go.
Let's
Favor is the
answer
LP
that.
token.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He said, like, what is Esteem and what is Favor? Very shortly, Esteem is like a share token that prints Favor, and the Favor is the credit token that you can borrow against.
I love that. There we go. Nice and simple. And basically, Steve's onto it. He's all onto it. So
yeah, he knows. He's been learning.
He knows.
He's got a beautiful mustache, though, bro. That's
he
awesome.
Does. Isn't it a fantastic mustache? I'm
Yeah.
just what a guy.
It needs some work.
Yeah, we do. He puts ours to shame, man. Oh. How does this work with tax? You would usually borrow to avoid tax. However, if you got a new token of value, won't you now owe tax on the value of the new token?
You know, tax is an interesting thing. Tax is different in every country. And for me, for example, like I'm in the Netherlands, and we don't have, for example, like if we transfer like crypto tokens to euros, we don't get taxed on that, because, you know, basically in the Netherlands it just considers any kind of cryptocurrency a currency, and you can you know, buy and sell them tax free. But so that's different in every country. But what usually is the case in most countries is that you get that something has the value of what you sell it for. So, for example, Favor would then immediately be only 50% of its favor, if its value. Esteem would immediately be only like 35% of its value, because that's what you can sell it for, literally. So there might be interesting ways of borrowing in such a way that the thing that's actually considered your own value is lower than what you borrow against it. However, I'll leave that up to people themselves, because it's highly dependent on the country, highly dependent on how you use the protocol, and highly dependent on how you do your administration and stuff like that. You know, that really, I can't say anything about that.
Okay,
because,
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
So Steve's channel. So someone's asking what Steve's channel is. It's Moat It Be, and it's on Rumble.
That's nice and pagan, friend.
So I click buttons. So these are very like these. This is all Richard Hart speaking, right? So not your keys, not your coins.
Okay.
Right. So this protocol, does it have admin keys? That's always something that people are always concerned about in Pulsechain.
Yeah. So our there's two parts. There's the Aave code, and the Aave code has settings. There are, like, we link to the Aave docs in our docs, because, you know, they already explain it, what kind of settings there are. Like the admins for the Aave code can set, for example, the height of the interest, and we can do things like mainly that we can hard cap, for example, how much can be borrowed. We can isolate certain pools. Like, these are all settings, and that we can do that because of the Aave code. What we cannot do, for example, is access the lending pool. That is, like, not even the admins can enter that. So we do have access to the settings. And the other thing that we have is our own contracts. And our own contracts are obviously ours. So we can change things about them. We're gonna mint Favor. We're gonna mint it in to serve the protocol, but we're gonna mint it. I mean, that's a manual minting that we're gonna do, obviously. So yeah, that is basically where this is. This is where you decide whether or not to be okay with a certain team. And I have no interest in becoming a criminal. Like, I have beautiful plans for the future. and that is like I for example, I want to migrate away from the Netherlands, and you basically cannot migrate if you've ever had a criminal record. It's like no country will have you, unless maybe you're a refugee or something. Then it's different. But you'd like normal migration doesn't work. So and I'm here face first. My name, Nicky Noordzij. It's in the white paper. Like, what do you think I want to do there, man?
Yeah.
So no, and like I've worked with like my team. I know my team, and these are all honorable people. I trust them, and that how I can only the only thing that I can do is just be myself, be genuine, and have my actions speak for me. Right now, we have, like last time I checked, 7.2, the deposited, and I think that speaks of trust. And eventually, the protocol will grow, and people will see that we just use the protocol in a good way, and that even in our treasury, which contains, for example, like the entire protocol income, because when we have protocol income, 80% gets deposited in the Stronghold, and 20% is for the team. But our treasury contains the entire 100%, right? We can take that out and do something with it, but we won't. Like if we use whatever is in the treasury for something, that it will be for some sort of investment to make another protocol work or whatever, and then it will be something that we strategize, and that is actually good for the community or good for the chain that we're on or good for the ecosystem. If people trust that, they trust that, and if they don't, they don't. I mean, we're basically in an unregulated space. That means that there are no securities or whatever. There's basically no insurance. That's what I wanted to say. There's no insurance or whatever. But what we do still have is criminal law in most countries, and stealing is stealing. And that's also in the white paper. Like, stealing is still stealing. It doesn't matter whether you steal through a scam or whether you steal by hitting someone on the head. Like, we're not going to do that. And even though that is the case, I don't even like that.
All good, Nicky. I think it's for people. It's basically it's your keys, not your coins. It's a whole Richard Hart thing. It's for people to decide. Trustworthiness is for people to decide. For me, it's very straightforward. I know when I'm talking to someone, I know who the snakes are, and I know who the not snakes are. There's a resonance there, and you don't have snake vibes. So I'm happy to have you here. So. But I think there's some great comments here from Steve. So I just want to quickly, Steve's just all over this. BetterBank is a recursive lending monopoly, more. No reason to sell your Esteem. It's the money printer. If you want cash, borrow against your daily earnings. So there's no stable coin in this. It's not like liquid loans. Someone was asking if it's liquid loans. It's all about looping.
You can swap for them, but there will be a stable coin. There will be one.
It will be in the future?
Yeah. I said that. Like, we're definitely gonna list eDAI, and that's
okay. Oh no, I think people
DAI from Ethereum.
No, I think people meant, does the protocol have its own native stable?
Oh no, we're not gonna go there.
Steve says the favor tax and smelting discourages leaving. This is what I love as well. The favor tax and smelting discourages leaving the ecosystem, along with the 50% liquidation policy, pumps the brakes on a bank run style death spiral. It strengthens the eco, which is really super smart. So that's something that I really liked about it as well from the start. So
we have multiple defenses against bank runs.
This is something I definitely agree with, Nicky. I don't know if you guys have gotten onto this yet, but the man, myth, and legend says there needs to be more visual aids on how this is working. There's a lot of components to this, and it's quite confusing.
Yes. You're right.
Understandable. That's understandable. and it sounds like there will be visuals coming.
Yeah. Like it's not even up to the original design yet. Like we designed in Figma with a professional payment app designer who became a friend of mine over the last year because we basically worked on this, and it's not even looking completely as the design was yet, with all the the extra aids and like this does that and this does that, like all of those things aren't yet there. What we are seeing right now is the minimum of what should be there, and I'm happy that that's there. This is our minimum viable product, but we're going to expand from there. And even when it is up to the standards of the design, we're going to expand further. Obviously, we just got to start somewhere. Eventually, you got to launch because otherwise it hangs in the air forever.
Yeah, and this is another great comment. So the tokens that are chosen are arbitrary. It's basically about mirroring the fractional reserve banking system, but we benefit instead of the bank, hence the name BetterBank, which is something that I really like. Think of it like, what's that? Sorry, Nicky?
It's very true that it's based on the fractional reserve system. Since the maximum that you can borrow, or the maximum that can be borrowed in total, versus what the supply is, or what's in the stronghold, only up to 80% of that can be borrowed. Once that hits 80%, there are no borrows available anymore. But that last 20% can still be withdrawn from the stronghold. You can't borrow it, but you can withdraw it. So what that means is that we basically got a 20% reserve. A little bit larger, actually, because our treasury is just not going to withdraw. So that's an extra reserve, but it's at least a 20% reserve. And that means that basically what happens, any token that enters our system via the stronghold gets used 5 times.
Okay. This question here, if you borrow 100%, or you can't borrow 100% of your liquidity positions when, if you max out whatever the borrow is, which is something that I did, when the price goes down, do you lose?
What you lose is your favor. And you need to think about whether that's, but your favor, you either get printed or you immediately got it recouped. So you don't really lose.
But if I swapped Pulse favor, then I would lose my Pulse favor if I get liquidated.
Yes. However, think like what you just did. You used 2 million of Pulse.
Yeah.
And what you recouped when you deposited that was 1.6 million. Yeah. For the other 0.4, you got a value of 0.44, like 10% extra, Esteem. So basically what that entire thing did was buy Esteem for 0.4 million Pulse. The rest of the Pulse you already have back, so you don't lose that. So
yeah, gotcha.
If you lose your collateral, okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, which is what Steve is all over it. Steve is all over it.
He's grinding
on this.
He's studied.
He put it through ChatGPT as well. This is a good question. Talk about security against hackers. Is there anything? It's one of those things where unless it happens, then how can you possibly know?
We test our contracts as much as we can. When we find
you've done several audits as well, right?
Yeah, we've done an audit. We've done an audit with all the custom contracts that we already had when we did the audit. So that means that we need to do, of course, a second audit for all the contracts that we made afterwards. That is simply the way that it is. Well, but because the audit itself took like 1.5 months or so. That took a long time. And also we didn't have the money to do it again. But now with income coming, we can do it again. So yes, we audit, but even that is not security. Like audited code gets hacked sometimes. What we do is, first of all, test our code as much as we can. Like everything is tested on testnet and stuff like that. And, all the logic is being tested. We've got multiple devs looking at it, looking it over and trying to, find the holes. When we discover like, oh, something might be a little bit, something might not be good, then we, immediately try to plug the hole and pull the contract. And this is something that we did with the flash loan contract. That contract we found was exploitable. So we pulled it. And we're now going to launch one that is not exploitable, at least as far as we can. If people get hit in whatever kind of way, then if it is within our capability, of course we will refund, because we aren't. If something happens to someone that is not their fault, then we'll refund, because that's not. Like, that is what an honest person does, like an honorable person. So that's what we do as well. And, we defend as much as we can against hackers. But even the most secure vault sometimes gets hit. I mean, just look at Ocean 11 or whatever. There's good films about that. There's only so much you can do. I think even the government gets hacked sometimes. It happens. But and Bitcoin got hacked, like not for the first time this year. Like, even that happens. It can happen. But the only thing you can do is try to contain it, make sure that it doesn't become larger, act as soon as you can, and refund if you can. And that's it. No, we are as secure as we can be, obviously.
Yep. Now, you can only do what you can do. So while I go through this little loop, so in case anyone's kind of watching what's happening here, I like this question as well. I don't think it's that type of bank, but who knows? So as a bank, will you provide a crypto debit card in the future?
Okay, this is an interesting question. This is definitely something that we would love to do, but as soon as you enter this field, you have to deal with all of the legislation, all of the regulations, all of the rules around doing this. And you would have to go to KYC. You would have to do everything that these governments increasingly ask. Like, you need to check transactions or whatever. Like there's so much oversight, like wrongful oversight, in my perspective, from the ICB, from from the governments. They want to know where everyone's money goes all the time, and they want you to be. Then you should be able to freeze people's accounts, which we definitely never want to do. I don't want to know who uses our platform. I don't want to know. Like, it's nice to know that I know that you are using my platform, but I don't want to register anyone's names. I don't want a KYC. Nothing. I want to have privacy through not knowing. We don't even have cookies on our site. We don't track anyone in any way. And as soon as you go for a crypto debit card, then first of all, you got to do all that. So if we go for that, then it would definitely be something else. It would be a different project that would interact with BetterBank, so that BetterBank can stay pure DeFi, just work purely that way. But there are already a couple of crypto to card kind of companies. We've got contacts with some of them. They are regrettably not on Pulsechain, which is why the contacts are difficult, but they exist. You can make your crypto into cards, and it would be great, if we can be the savings account to someone's current account. So what if, for example, one of these card providers says, hey, we put into our app an option to, if you don't need your money for a while, to put it in the savings account, which then puts it in our system until people need it again. Like something like that, I'm definitely open to, but we probably have to work with someone else, because I've spoken to two people on a crypto convention. I've spoken to two people who wanted to issue cards. One of them said, well, I have the right connections, and he was able to issue a card basically within a year or so. But the other one came from just good vibes or good intentions, and that guy was basically depressed simply because it had taken him 7 years to get all the agreements to be able to issue a card. It was terrible for that guy, man. He went through so much.
Fair enough. So I think just this last question, but I think I can answer this. I don't think it's even possible. So when you launch BetterBank on Arbitrum, will the liquidity be tied together with the liquidity on Pulsechain somehow within the BetterBank protocol? I don't think so. They'd be their own liquidities, right?
So what we pulled is basically what we rescinded on is this certainty that we are soon going to launch on Arbitrum. Right now, we are basically good on Pulse. We're fine here. We're gonna build here for a while. Then we're gonna look at we're gonna look at where would be a next logical step, and maybe the next logical step might not be Arbitrum, but maybe Ethereum, because Ethereum has good connection with Pulse and basically with everything, and it has a large market, so that could be something, or maybe even something entirely different. But if we do, and when we do, it would be a total fork. So it would be a completely independent instance of BetterBank with its own Esteem, with its own tokens. And basically this one would continue existing independently.
Okay.
That's the current way of looking at it. I mean, if we ever change that, then maybe.
Okay. All right. So
what's the secret sauce with Liberty Swap? I don't know, man. I went to the to pulsechain.com, and I saw them there, and they're basically endorsed there, which I like. So we put them in the docs, and they apparently like us. So maybe we should have an AMA with them, but I don't even know who they are. So that would be lovely. We still have to meet them. There's no secret sauce yet. We just they like our protocol, and we like that they are bridging. So there's that.
Nice. And then all right, I think we might leave it here, Nicky. Is there anything else you want to kind of cover? I think Steve's just about to do another video. He's jazzed up. He's going to go record another video. I mean, yeah.
No, man, I got nothing. I'm just super happy, super thankful, and I'm just genuinely, overwhelmed in a good way that everything went the way it went so far. And at the same time, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna make everything nice. Like the interest is gonna go up. It's gonna be great. And like, I'm still like, I still have so much to do. I feel a big responsibility to make everything good. But at the same time, people are nice all the time. They say, hey, take your time. We've been waiting for something like this for months. We can wait another couple of days. I'm like, oh yeah, that's true as well. Let's calm down. Things are going to be good. We know. And yeah, that's just it's fine. We started, so it's gonna be good.
Yeah. I would also agree with that sentiment as well. Really just take the time, don't rush. The protocol's here now. People can start using it. The ones who are going to want to use it will use it. The ones who are going to doubt it will doubt it. This is just the nature of communities. And as you said at the start, it's actually beautiful that people care enough. I mean, even I click buttons. It's beautiful that he cares enough to even come on and criticize but it's not even criticism really. It's just it's a certain philosophical leaning within DeFi that's really geared towards the Richard Hart perspective, which I also largely agree with. But I like to support projects that from people
you
that I
can do
like.
that either with the thing is with completely renounced contracts, because that's what basically we're talking about. If hybrid's nice, thank you, man. No, the thing is with such things like renouncing keys entirely, it's a beautiful thing. Or make it into something that is controlled by the public. I think that's great. It's a great thing to do for certain crypto projects. But either it needs to be a very simple project, or it needs to be a project that has already existed for some time, so that you know what its pitfalls are, you know how it works and stuff like that. And what we have is a very complex protocol with a lot of things that can change. We need to do new listings. We maybe need to delist a token at some point. You never know. At some point, for example, if imagine if pDAI pegs, and then it has huge liquidity with everything because it has pegged.
We're not imagining, Nicky. We're not imagining.
Yeah, like when that happens. When that happens,
When it happens, that's better.
Then we need to take it out of isolation, right? So then we need to change it and need to take it out of isolation because it works now. So this is a protocol that needs a team, and yeah, that's just the way it is. And if it's basically like a business, and our team is the business owners, and you like that or you don't, that's fine. We just utilize the blockchain to make a cool business.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that completely with the experience that I have with other teams and what's required on the back end. And I don't really know too much about it, but I do know that when there's moving parts, then it's just the nature of how it is. So,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Nicky? We might leave it at that. I think we've gone. Oh,
I'm good, man. We've had 1.5 hours again. Like, we never have a short talk.
No, yeah. I mean, we try to get through everything and answer these questions. I think that's something that I always try to do. If anyone ever wants to donate to the channel, I mean, I always answer all the questions, and I never ever get any Well, I mean, I shouldn't say I never ever get, but I look at the crypto kings.
Don't manifest that, bro.
So loaded. And yeah, I guess that's one thing that I will quote unquote shill. So that's one thing that is something that we discussed earlier. So the coexist token that I created, it's not like my token. I have the supplier, like all the liquidity is burnt. But when people want to come onto the channel, then basically they'll buy some coexist token and then burn that LP. So then the community benefits. So the people who watch this channel benefit. So that's something that we're going to do as well. So
I'll do that too, like today,
of course,
but I'll do it.
No problem. I trust that you'll do it. There's no problem there. I wanted to show the transactions, but it doesn't matter. Like, who cares as long as people know? So, that's something that I want to like transform the model of, the whole crypto influencer space of, you can come and talk on my channel, but you got to give me the supply, X amount of supply, and then I'm going to sell on everybody. That's not the kind of style that I want to go for. I want it to be where everyone who's in this ecosystem benefits as well. Good on you, Steve. Steve, you're the GOAT tonight, Steve. You are the GOAT. Good on you, Steve-o. Love you too, buddy. Everybody go support Steve's. If you are into BetterBank, go support Steve's new up-and-coming channel, and he's really into it. He's really, really into it. So he's pretty much the BetterBank expert as far as I can see. So, all right, Nicky, thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everybody for joining. There's over 400, almost 450 people that have joined the stream. So thank you very much, everybody. So this is number one. That's number one bullshit I want a crown. I don't know what this boy is on. Muddy wants a crown. Muddy wants to be the king. So I don't know what he's talking about. He's one of my mates. He's one of my best mates. So I think he's just gassing himself up. But any last words, Nicky, before we close the stream?
That sounds dangerous. No, man, I'm just thankful. I'm happy, and thank you so much for having me.
My
It's
absolute
been
pleasure,
great,
man.
and thank you to the community for being here. I mean, 140 people. I'm honored. That's awesome.
Yes. Thank you very much, everybody. This is beautiful. So everybody enjoy your weekend and take care. And get to looping.